Hello everybody, welcome to Kendo Tips. My name is Jose, I am a golden in Kendo, and this is Kendo Tips. We're going to be watching some Kendo videos, talking about Kendo. If you have any questions, it's a good place to ask them, and I am sorry for the little delay that I had today and the fact that I kind of threw the stream like in the last second. So thank you very much for being here, for everybody that's here. I am trying to find the best time for me to stream that is convenient for you and for me, so I tried a little bit later than this time. Early in the mornings for me, so still figuring it out. So I'll appreciate if you let me know if this time works for you. I see that this time is good for you. That's awesome. And by the way, thank you very much for being a member of the stream, a member of the channel. Really appreciate the support. Nick, how are you doing? Everything is good? Yeah, training a lot, so I'm like super tired right now and got like the whole week booked for practices, so I hope I survive. I will survive, but yeah, looking forward to it. Cloudy, thank you very much for passing by. Lily, same to you. Same. How are you doing? And welcome everybody to the stream. If you haven't, please hit that like button. Help the stream get pushed out to more people, and that way we can, get more people into Kendo and hopefully all of us learning. So the idea that I have today, continuing with what I did last week, where I showed some Ippon compilation from the Women's All Japan Championship, and the theme that I kind of want to talk about, it's about when to attack, when to commit to your technique. This is a question I get a lot. This is a question I ask myself a lot, and lately I've been actually switching my mentality from asking myself when to attack, but instead asking why should I attack, right? And personally, for me, that kind of has made a big difference into my moment of attacking and the hesitation that I could have between approaching my opponent and saying, go, right? I don't know. For me, that's what that's doing. We can talk about it. If you have any questions, shoot, and you can pick my brain. That's what we're here for. Okay, so I wanted to continue on the spot we were before in the last stream. Let me just make sure that I can see everything in my screen, that there's no gaps here. One second, guys, because I'm only using one monitor, so a little bit of a pain. Okay, cannot really see all the comments, but if something comes up, I'll be able to. Let me see. Why can I not see? Okay, there we go. Here we are. Okay, so ooh, beautiful kote. So very good approach. Very good way on making a reaction and getting an opening, right? A lot of times when people want to go for do, I feel that they just come in and just go for do, right? But in here, you can see a little bit from white, a little bit of a pause, but also a threat to the man, right? So there's a threat to the man, a slight pause, and then going for the kote. Right? And the pause is not necessarily a stopping motion, but it's more of a, what's it called? It's a play with the footwork, right? Because you can control the speed as you approach with your footwork, and I feel that that's what's happening here. So if you watch, White comes in with the footwork, raises the sword, and continues like without a stop, or it's just a switch of timing, right? Into that kote. If you watch it fluidly. And the arm motion, I think, is pretty much steady, but what is changing is the rhythm of the footwork. Right? So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me catch up with something that's coming. Claudia, yesterday you had Shiai and it didn't do well. Maybe because it was your first time. Besides, it was different from Jigeiko. So how was it different for you from Jigeiko? That's actually a thing very important to start addressing. Congratulations though for being in your first Shiai. And I think that in many dojos, we don't take the time to kind of adapt newcomers to Shiai. So when they go into a Shiai, a lot of times they get a little bit overwhelmed on, and I'm not saying, I'm talking in general, right? So I'm not saying about your dojo, but I'm thinking that a lot of times people become very overwhelmed even before going into the fight. They don't know what to expect. And for me, a big part of my training for Shiai, it's imagining myself already in the Shiai. And that imagination, I guess I can only have from my previous experiences. And of course, like if the dojo does specific Shiai days and stuff like that, you can start kind of like warming up to that feeling as well. So try to remember how everything was. Like, I always tell people, make sure that you know how to get in, how to, the timing of bowing out and all this stuff. So that way you don't get frustrated or like surprised in the last second and then you lose your train of thought and you actually don't perform your best. But I will be interested to know how you feel that Jigeiko was different, that Shiai was different from Jigeiko. That's actually a pretty cool topic. Lily, that's okay, Claudia, that's why we do Shiai. Yep, and train to get better. You will improve the more training and more experience. That's correct. And it's interesting, right? Because I'll try to keep all my terms in English, not to speak in Japanese, right? But when you first come into Jigeiko, you want to have that feeling that first ippon, you do everything you can to get that ippon, right? Kind of like keep that fire into it, not necessarily, especially like if you're going against somebody that's higher level than you, maybe you feel like, oh, I should only do men and stuff like that. No, you want to try to get one point where like you make a little bit of a real situation, right? And then you can start polishing whatever you're working on. I kind of like see it as a time to not really think about myself, but more about the engagement that I'm having. Then during Jigeiko, I kind of balanced out what is it that I want to work on and keeping obviously a good engagement and so on. So I don't know. Let me know how you guys do your Jigeiko. What's in your mind when you do Jigeiko? That's actually a very good topic too. Oh, that was, oh, what happened here? That was a very good attempt for the kote from white in here. A very good way to kind of come in because she had the shinai down in Gedan. It wasn't Nippon, right? But I'm just talking about the execution of this. And she took advantage of the fact that her opponent was coming in and just threw her body into it. She missed, but I think definitely this is something that's going to make Red kind of more cautious and approach her a little bit more cautious. And this is important because if you notice, white is shorter than red, right? So a lot of times I get the question about, how to fight a taller opponent, right? And a lot of times there's a Chiba Sensei has an article about this. And, as a short opponent, you have to approach a taller opponent. But between the middle of the fights, sometimes we kind of lose perspective of distance. And I feel like red kind of came in a little bit too close and made it easier for white. So, I don't know. My thoughts. Oh. So, wait. This is something interesting that I was told last week in a practice. And it's about having different ways of approaching your opponent, different timings, different things that you can do to create a reaction from your opponent. Again, we're talking about why to attack or when to attack, right? So in order to attack, the best timing to attack is when you actually got a reaction from your opponent, right? Whether it's covering, attacking, moving, and so on, because at that point, they're more focused on doing that rather than coming to get you, for example. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, you should train yourself to always have the instinct to attack and and go for the I man. This is another advice, another sensei gave me, right? Just train yourself to always go for the I man. But if you attack, if you get a reaction from your opponent, this is a good time for you to attack. But you cannot. That's why I was saying that it made a difference for me to not think about when to attack, because I noticed that I was doing something, getting a reaction, then engaging in the technique, and at that point, it's too late, right? You have to do whatever you're going to do and anticipate the reaction. And I feel that and a good way for me to do it, and something that I see very commonly, is people, they do something once, they do it twice, they kind of store that information, then maybe later on in the fight, they do it one more time, just checking to see if it worked, and then they do it and go. And because they already kind of established the pattern, the behavioral pattern of their opponent. And if you notice a little bit of this, kind of what happened here. Red approach, kind of saw the reaction. Approach with emotion, kind of saw the reaction. Then approach with emotion, attacked, and got the ippon, right? Got a reaction, already kind of could anticipate the type of reaction that she was going to get, and then decided to attack. Watch. Approach with emotion, approach with emotion, attack. Very interesting, right? And the timing of it too, right? Because she does a fumikomi and everything, and it kind of makes it feel that she's already committing, right? By throwing a little bit of the harai, going around very sharply with that fumikomi in there, and then being able to go around to hit that kote. Very, very good strategy, very good approach, very well executed in my opinion. Okay, let me catch up with some of these comments here. Claudia, you said you stood there, even you know that you had to move, but your opponent was a guy and you guys more experienced than yourself, so was shook at you. You were shook, and how he turned out quickly. I tried to get kote, but it didn't work. And you got hit twice from men. Yeah, that's one of the things, right? When you stop, you become reactive. So it's very, very interesting. And I see the word patience from Nick right now. And yes, but it could be confusing, right? Because if you're being static, if you're being standing there, like that, people confuse that with patience as well sometimes. And you have to be proactive. So you have to get a reaction from the opponent. What I think Nick is trying to say with the patience part is that you have to get a reaction, but you also have to be patient when you don't get that reaction, so not to attack blindly, which is what ends up happening a lot of the times, right? And it's normal. You have to figure out your rhythm. So let me read Nick's comment and see if that's what he was trying to say. Looking for opportunities to land Yukodatotsu when getting reactions versus throwing out wasans randomly. Yeah, okay. Ideally, we should be ceasing our eye test timing and I don't know, okay. Observe first is taught mainly at Kyushu Gakuen. You think something that is also important, tempo. Everyone has their own tempo. I call it timing, but I understand tempo, okay? So I'll say timing just because it's more comfortable for me to say it. In Kendo, whether they realize it or not, changing up your own tempo or timing once training. So I understand what you're saying with tempo, like, you know, rhythm, I guess, right? So yeah, normally I use rhythm too, but I get you. So maybe it's not timing what I was trying to say. Once training your aite in a match to be faster and train them to your slower man usually leads to good Yukodatotsu, so it takes time to set up. So yeah, so changing the speed uh, changing the speed, definitely it's a good way to kind of start getting a reaction. It's interesting because um, sometimes you want to kind of, it's interesting, right? Like there's a line from what's it called, the Batman movie with Bane, that he says, like, trick and deception are powerful agents for the uninitiated, right? And a lot of times when you have somebody that really understands what's happening, that change of tempo doesn't quite get them by surprise, right? So yeah. But I understand that it's about finding your own pace. One thing is that, especially when you have somebody that moves a lot and you're not the type of person that you move a lot, not to fall into their rhythm, right? Because then you're not doing your kendo. You have to try to draw them into kendo. And Nick, as you can see, I'm a music guy too, right? Like, I actually went to school for music, so I understand. It's very interesting, right? So something that is interesting to, you want to understand your own way, your own kendo, and you want to try to draw in people into kendo, right? Into your own kendo, right? Like, what is it that you're doing, and kind of make them feel uncomfortable. But definitely, take care, Lily. Have a good one. Definitely something you want to try to understand. It's yourself, right? Because are you throwing yourself into techniques that you don't need to? How are you doing all this stuff? It's very important to start understanding. Nice, we got a Jordan fight. Oh, I said it in last stream, right? I even made a short video about it, that you don't want to raise your hands against Jordan players because they can do this very easily and very quick. It's really hard to let it register, right? Because as they're bringing their hands down, you can think they're going for the men, but as they're coming their hands down, they're also rotating that tip, and it's really hard to see it. It's really hard to get used to it. So one of the worst things you can do against the Jordan players is put your hands up there. Oh, nice. That was very interesting. So it's interesting because, white came in and kind of had the advantage when it came to the momentum, right? But the fact that red was able to aim properly to where she was going to be, that switched things up, right? Because now she doesn't have to, when she decided to attack, she didn't attack where she was. She attacked where she was going to be. So if you notice, she's pretty much doing the Fumikomi in place and using the edge of the Shinai, right? She's not going in deeper, so she's going in as far as she needs to be and using the timing, the distance, all on her favor to regain that control or that difference between the speed or the momentum. How do you say this? Yeah, to regain the edge against her opponent having more momentum against her. Very good approach. Very good execution, I think. So pretty much in place. Very good control. Watch one more time. Wow. Very cool. Nick, you're saying your imagery is that you're inviting people into your house with semi and tempo. This is where you are in your kendo, changing it from selfish versus being a good aite while always pressing forward. It's good. Wow. Oh, that moment, that frozen moment, the deer in the headlights, right? This is something that ends up happening a lot, right? Where you take that step forward. And if you look at Red right now, she took that step forward, put all her weight on the right foot, and really disengaged that back foot, right? She decides to go back. Maybe that's why we see that disengagement, because she's jumping backwards, but her hands are so relaxed, right? She's not really in it. So maybe she tried to do it as a rhythm thing, right? Like coming in to then go back, and she wasn't expecting her opponent to just throw that technique, right? If we watch White, she just missed an attack and quickly recover, and she's coming in, and it was very far away, so maybe she didn't think that she was gonna reach out or something, but oh, nice. Oh, so a lot of times people try to receive their opponent like this, right? Thinking that they're safe. But Red just kept going with it, and it didn't matter, right? So you, first of all, it's kind of rude, right? To like just kind of stop people like that, especially when they're higher ranked than you. But also, it kind of puts you in the mentality that you are being passive, you're being defensive. So I think we should always try to go in with a little bit more of the intention of doing something. Oh, great man from White. Robin, give me 1 second. I'll answer your question. I'll read in a second. So I think this is where that advice that I mentioned kind of comes in, right? Train yourself to be ready for the Iman, right? To like have that instinctively. Because Red came in to try to put pressure, and instead of White backing off, she decided to just go in and attack in that moment where she was switching from the kote into the men, right? So it's very important to always have the mentality that you're going to go forward, because sometimes maybe you didn't make the opening, but the opponent gave you that opening. And if you're not ready and engaged, you'll miss that opportunity. Like, not like what happened here, because here, watch how she took the opportunity that was presented for her. Beautiful. Okay. Let me see. Robin, you're saying, in Jordan, do you have any insight into Morote men footwork? You mean for coming from Jordan to go into the Morote men? So the advantage with Jordan is that you could do Fumikomi with both feet. Normally, when I see Morote men, you know, the feet are switched. Same thing as Morote kote, right? Just to get a little bit of a distance. But if you're a Jordan player, you have to train yourself into going, you know, with both feet. Let me read what you just wrote. If you start from left foot forward, you need to attack with the right, which starts behind. Feels like you are pulling yourself forward, not sharp. So I need to find that video. I used to train with a Jordan player in Kobe University about 5 years ago, and his footwork was insane because he looked like he could walk on water. Like he like double stepped. He was able to switch the footwork quickly. And a lot of times, what I noticed, and again, I'm not a Jordan player, right? But what I noticed is that not necessarily, depending on the distance, not necessarily he was pushing himself forward with the back foot to go in forward with the right, but it was more like he was using that first step for to put pressure for seme, that first step, and then continuously bringing that foot forward and then attacking into that men. But again, I think that if you are using morote men, there has to be a reason why you're doing it, right? So a lot of it, I think, has to be situational. Like if the person is coming in forward, you wouldn't have to pull yourself forward. You cannot just switch the feet, and as you switch the feet, you hit the men, almost like you're doing hikiwasa, right? And as a matter of fact, maybe that's actually more realistic, right? You're probably gonna use that type of man going backwards than you're gonna go forward, even if there was no subaseriae or taitari, right? I'm trying to put in my head like when is a time where you will see that happening. And I think you will see that happening mostly when going backwards. But I don't know. Let me know. What's your question specifically when it comes to that timing? Can you do morote kote? Because I think that's much more practical than morote men, right? Because as a matter of fact, like I was in a training camp a few years ago with a Jordan player. And what she was teaching is that the best techniques, the first two techniques that you need to have before you can go to a tournament is that, like katate men and morote kote. If you have those two, you can do a lot. So I think morote men might be a little bit also, like situational technique maybe. But let me know more about your questions. You say makes sense when coming forward, seeing Chiba pull left back, then right forward, if that makes sense. Yeah, so like switching the feet, right? And when the opponent's coming in, is that what you mean? So yeah. Yeah, definitely something you want to keep in mind. Cool. Oh, very, very swiftly. Cheers, Robin. Why it's a risk for Kote, very much. But red is not capitalizing on it. Oh. Okay, well, I guess she did. So the reason why I was saying that white is at risk for Kote, if you notice, every motion she does, every feint that she's trying to do, you see right here, she's trying to do a feint. The way that she does it is by opening her Kote, right? Oh, what happened? Okay. So here, maybe she's not exposed, but she's opening her Kote as well. Here, one more time. See? Right here. This is the attack. So she went around, and because so many turns around and then going in, it gave time enough to red to see how she was coming in and was able to just get that Kote straight forward. Oh, wait. She got the man. Wait. Okay, yeah, sorry. Red got the Kote. Sorry. Wait. Sorry, I'm confused. White got the man. Whoa. I'm blind. I'm blind and confused. That... I guess it did hit. The angle is really... but it hit after the... maybe the Kote didn't hit, right? Yeah. That angle is not good. The timing for red was really good though, right? Yeah, I think what ended up happening was red didn't quite get that hit. Nice. Definitely a good valid target against Jordan, and especially when you are at this distance, going for that right kote is a very good opportunity, right? Oh, but she missed it. Did she miss? What? Yeah, that's why she was confused. But it looked right. It looked like it was an ippon, right? A lot of times, so one skill that you need to have in your repertoire is to be able to throw a technique, and even if you miss it, you're still in control. First, because you have the opportunity to do another technique, but also because it could get you an ippon even when there was no contact. So if you watch here, red misses the area, red misses the target, but because of her tenouchi, the kiken taichi, how she threw her body, everything made it look like she actually connected the technique, and the judges lifted the flag. So it's very important to always, I don't want to say look good, but you want to always have good control after you throw a technique. Very interesting. Oh, very nice. Again, how did she get a score on? By raising her hands. If you raise your hands against Jordan, you're in a very, very, very tough spot. Oh, this is a tense situation. It could be Hikiwasa. Oh, okay, now. Oh, nice explosion from white. So in Kendo, you want to learn to be able to relax, but at the same time be engaged. But at the time of throwing a technique, you should put 100% of your energy at that moment, right? Learning that skill is not easy because you have to learn to relax and also tense up and also be efficient on that tension. And this way you will be able to have a sharp and fast attack. If you watch white, that's exactly what it looks like, right? She's relaxed. And at the moment of this technique, and at the moment of the strike, she puts everything into it. I have a friend that he used to tell me, it feels almost like somebody's plugging electricity in your body and you're just throwing everything just for a fraction of a second and relax immediately. This is a very important skill to develop for your Kendo if you want to have sharp and fast and strong techniques. Let me know what you think though. Oh, nice on that Hiki, man. So you see, sharp entry, then sharp exit. Very powerful, very swift. No waiting. Not playing around. Just going in for the Hiki, man. Nice. Oh. Nice, 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 nice. One thing that I want to improve for myself, and that's one thing that I feel that we should always pay attention to if we want to improve our hikiwasa, is the positioning of our body and our feet before the execution of the hikiwasa. We tend to put a lot of focus into the hit itself, but I'm gonna call it the kamae for hikiwasa, or the kamae at subasariai is very important because you want to have stability and be able to change directions quickly, right? And I think this is a good example, even though we have the judge in the middle, right? But both of them have good standing. They're both seem in balance. And then White had a little bit of a better engagement towards her opponent. Red kind of took a little bit longer to get there. But both of them had great positioning though. Okay, this is something that we don't see very commonly. And as a matter of fact, I saw Shen, I don't know, Shen, if you're here, but he sent me a question about Tsuki, and I was watching a little bit. I didn't have time to answer him, but I'm going to say that Tsuki, it's a technique that we have to practice. We have to get more involved in this technique, and we have to be able to, to throw it confidently, right? It's a very hard technique, and it has this moment to throw it. One thing though is that you do want to be mindful of your opponent. Okay, you don't want to throw the tsuki and then leave it there and you kind of like keep pushing forward for two main reasons. The first one is for the safety of your partner, right? If the tsuki dare gets missed or whatever, like you maybe hit the door and then goes up and hit the throw of your opponent, you don't want to hurt your opponent, right? But the other reason, it's also so you're ready to go for the next technique. Because if you focus so much on that action of thrusting, your shinai can be taken out. You have, even if it's both hands, your opponent can take control of your hands and sword very easily and then counter you. Also, if the opponent is going back, most likely it will be harder. If you're so focused on stabbing, it will be harder for you to go for another technique. So it's very important to understand how to do tsuki properly and then how to relax properly after the strike. Hope that makes sense though. Let me know what you think. Nice, man. So I'm sure you heard from your sensei tell you shouldn't just block, right? You should always be ready to throw your technique or to do something after the deflection or the block. So in this case, I think it's a perfect example. If you watch Red, she's going to throw a technique. Okay, sorry, I'm going slow motion. So Red throws a technique. White receives the technique, but keeps the edge of the sword towards the opponent. So after the deflection, she can bring that sword down directly into the man. Many people, when they block this way, taking the sword away from the opponent. You gotta keep it towards the opponent so that way you can always come back and counter. Always try to have something happening after that block, after that deflection. So that way you have at least an option to get an ippon. Hope that makes sense. A great illustration of why center is so important in every situation. Yeah, you wanna keep that center, even if the sword is not in the center, right? You want to keep the direction of the sword, the direction also for your reflexes, right? Like your reflex is going to be to throw your hands forward, and if your sword is not in the direction of your opponent, you will miss it. So that was a very dangerous situation for Red. If you watch, she attacks and then she stops, right? She lets her opponent kind of get the distance she wants. And she almost got score on. Oh. Nice Hiki, man. So a lot of times when people are trying to do Hikiwasa, they focus so much on that push before the technique. And it's very interesting because a lot of times you can actually score Hikiwasa more on a moment of relaxation than a moment of tension. So if you watch this one, it's very interesting, right? She does something to get a reaction, to make some distance, to just kind of maybe test the waters. And then from here, there's a moment of relaxation and then into the technique, right? The opponent kind of got that shock of like something's going to happen. So she gets very defensive, but then relaxes. And in that moment is when Red decides to take that ippon. Watch. Also, let's appreciate the posture. Let's appreciate the posture of Red at this point, right? Her body is very well engaged. You don't know right now if she's trying to go forward, trying to go backwards, because she's keeping her options open, right? Her body's pretty straight. And at the moment where she decides to engage into the Hikiwasa, she starts shifting her weight backwards. And the Fumikomi is what gets her to go back. Very interesting thing though is that if you see, her back foot is on the air, so it's almost like she jumped in place, right? And maybe this helps her move easier on the way back. But the main thing is that her body starts shifting the weight backwards, and at the moment of the impact, just sharply gets that impact, sharply gets the impact, and then starts going back. Very interesting, very cool. It's interesting, Nick, what you're saying about the moments of relaxation, because those moments of relaxations, they've been there before, right? But I think that many people, because they wanted to stay in Tsuba Serie, they push more. That's my opinion, though. I feel like now, with the new rules, there are more Hikimens being scored for that reason, because people are kind of being forced to either engage and relax or separate. There's no reason to kind of keep pushing forward and to stay there. Nice. This is a very relaxed approach, right? Very interesting. Because, again, she engaged on her way forward in the middle of the opponent trying to overwhelm her. She just went in. Like, okay, door's open, I'm coming in. Very nice. Nice, man. Oh. Yeah. She has a very relaxed man. But something that's very interesting and very cool is the direction in which she's pushing, right? She's actually coming in forward. There's not an upward jump, making it very relaxed, but also to maximize the power and the distance that she can throw. Very cool. Ah, Seno. So we know she's going to win this one because she was in the finals, right? But Seno has such a relaxed approach, right? Watch this. You know, she's very observant. Whoa. She has so much power, right? Damn. Very nice, very nice. A lot of Jordan players in this tournament. This is the first round, so. Nice. Wait. So again, making that distance. It's so interesting how she anticipated that motion there, though. Very cool. Nice, nice kote, man. We haven't seen much of these ones, right? But there's a little bit of separation between that kote and the men. Very well placed, both of them. And it looks, and if you think about it, if you look at it, right? It's not like she looks like she was going for that kote men. I think she went in for kote. She saw that didn't score. Saw the opening. Went for men. Very cool. Oh, that was very sharp. Very nice. Oh. Again, so you see, red is not pushing white. Instead, if there's any pushing, which I don't think there is, she's just pushing herself off her opponent and going in for that do. Very nice, very sharp. Very nice. This is not a technique I think you see often, right? What do you call that technique, actually, right? What would you call that? Watch it. One more time. Yeah. I'll say men, Kaeshi men, right? Oh, wow. That was it was at the edge of the timing. Very dangerous. Oh, it almost looked like it didn't hit, but. Okay. So that was the video. Guys, if you haven't, please hit the like button. It really helps the stream get pushed out to more people. I'm gonna put the Discord server. I guess I haven't done that today. Let's see if it comes out. And if you would like to support the channel, you can become a member and help me keep making these videos and keep making these streams possible. So I really appreciate all the help here, and just for you being here, because you guys keep me motivated and keep looking for these videos, watching them, studying, and keep getting better. So I have to say thank you for everybody that keeps watching the channel and the comments, the questions, and all this stuff. My main takeaway right now when it comes to when to attack, it's about not hesitating, not waiting, and not going just for the sake of going. In my mind right now, in my practice, I am trying to figure out, my question that I'm asking myself now is not when to attack, but instead, why should I attack? And when I'm coming in, I'm observing, I'm trying to see, am I going to get a reaction? Is this causing a reaction? Also, I can tell you, I'm at a point right now that I know I'm going to get hit before I get hit, because I know it's like I'm being too passive, I didn't do anything. The other thing, and this is something that I want to make a video about, is that if you're the first person to attack, most likely you will probably lose. But if you're the first person to move, most likely you will win. What that means, and exactly a conversation I was having at the dojo, right, is that if you are here, right, and you're just attacking, this person is going to be able to see that coming and can deflect it. But instead of attacking, if you're the first person to move in and then this person attacks, you already have a little bit of momentum going. You are making them attack at your timing, right? It's not that they were planning to go in. It's not that they were ready. They just feel that they need to go because you approach them. And in this case, you can also, we watched one of the Ippons today about that. You can catch them as they're coming in, so you can aim to where they're going to be. Therefore, your distance of engagement is going to be shorter. The amount of speed that you're going to need is going to be less, because even if you have a faster opponent, you can catch up with them through timing. And once you start realizing this, that you have to figure out why you should attack instead of when to attack, I think for me right now, what I'm trying to do is also figuring out different ways and what patterns do I get from my opponents based on those different ways. So in my mind, I'm always trying to come in forward and trying to get my opponent to either back off or come in when they don't want to come in. If they start doing something, they give me an opening, perfect, great, if they start attacking too many times, I can start reading the patterns. I can start, picking up all the stuff, and then I can take advantage of that. But these are openings that I'm not doing anything to get. That's why it's also important to be ready at all times. Hope that makes sense, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I think this is a very interesting topic and something that I want to keep talking about. I want to make a video about that too. There's a couple of things that I want to be doing. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts. Again, the Discord server, if you want to meet Kendo people, that is completely free. You can just join the server through that link, and that will be able to, if you want to send me a message or anything like that, it's a good way to do so as well. Guys, I think I'm going to, please let me know in the comments if you think this is a good time for me to stream. I'm trying to figure out how many people get on the stream at this times and the other times. So maybe I'll end up doing 2 streams a week. Maybe one for like the later, like, you know, at night, one in the morning, so that way I can get everybody that would like to watch the stream. I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. It's a big commitment in time too. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. I will catch you guys on the next stream, and hopefully I think within the next week I will be able to come up with a new video. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't watched it, I have one video that has to do with using your footwork and putting together Fumikomi and Fumikiri. So I'll put it in the chat if you guys would like to watch it. If you haven't watched it, please, you know, watch it and leave me a comment. So it's a good time for American Kendo Maniacs. Yeah, but I can see that you wake up early, right? Like many Kendo Maniacs don't wake up early, I think. So, but I like this time. For me, I like this time. So if it works for you, that's awesome too. But for me specifically, I like this time because, you know, I don't have, it's going to be Monday. Normally I end up finishing my stream before. I was ending up my stream like at 1:30 or 2 in the morning. It's kind of tough. So anyways, thank you guys. Thank you very much for passing by, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream. You have a good rest. You have a good week. Yeah, good training. Take care. Bye.